Listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How you doing? Indiana Fever took care of business, no doubt about it. Dropped another buck, 100 points on the Dallas Wings, and man, oh man, did they get it in, 102 to 83. Caitlin Clark, I'm the best defender you got on the Indiana Fever. Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark is the best defender you have. The Indiana Fever put on the show. The floor general was back. The floor general said I could play defense too. No one's ever asked me to do it. Money Mike hit the nail on the head. As I tried to share with everyone, Caitlin was so good that no one ever asked to play defense. But Money Mike has a theory. My theory is you should be able to run backwards as fast as you're running forwards. Caitlin Clark, when she has the ball in her hands, is a nightmare, okay? That is a Ferrari that's going over 100 miles an hour. So when you get 100 points, Caitlin Clark's the Ferrari that's rolling down the highway. The Indiana Fever bounced back and did something I haven't seen before. Caitlin set a fire. That's right. We're going to do this one the old-fashioned way today. Caitlin set a fire, got a steal, and it lit Jetpack Kelsey Mitchell. You saw how fast. I mean, you got Jetpack as fast as Tyreek Hill. If you lined up, and folks, I'm really going to tell you, if you lined up Kelsey Mitchell and Tyreek Hill, you lined them up, you sprint them, by the speed, when Mitchell stole that ball, the burst of speed she had was just the same as Tyreek Hill in the NFL, right? So you got to understand, but here's where the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White, and it's Stephanie White, this is what she got to do. She can't play defense, and the coach doesn't believe you can play defense. You got Caitlin Clark on the other end saying, I'm the best you got, and there ain't nobody better than me. Caitlin Clark hits the floor. Now, hands down, I don't want anybody, Money Mike don't want to confuse anybody today. The Indiana Fever won the game, 100%. I'm with you. I'm excited, but I got to let you know, Caitlin Clark. Now, here are the numbers. 14 points, 13 assists, 5 steals. Talk to me. Let me repeat that. 14 points, 13 assists, 5 steals, okay? That resulted in Caitlin Clark, right, coming out for the game of being a +9. But that's not the real number. The real number of the effect of the general and what she did on the floor came through Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. And let me tell you why. Because I see numbers I haven't seen before. And I got it, folks, I got to tell you. You win the game 102 to 83, but you got Boston is a +31. You got Mitchell's a +30. Folks, them are high numbers, right? You want to get on, you want to get some minutes on the Indiana Fever, you better get on the plus side, because Natasha Howard was +22. You coming in there, Lexi Hole a +12. We got to get Lexi going. Now, here's the good news. Cunningham comes off the bench +7, and then you got McDonald's a +10. Aaron McDonald's is contributing in a very fast way, but don't ever understand you're playing with the general Caitlin Clark. This player is unmeasurable greatness. She told us yesterday in a very clear words. We won 102-83, but I haven't had a good shooting day yet. And when I light it up on the shooting day, these numbers are going to read a little bit different than you've ever seen before. My name is Caitlin. You're going to put some respect on my name. Now, you got Stephanie White just making it as hard as she could be. And one thing I learned from Shady McCoy, right? He was with the Buffalo Bills. Unless you're on a trajectory to be a Hall of Fame coach, you got to listen to Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White at the press conference. It's like oil and water. I mean, Caitlin's like Mike Tomlin. She comes to the podium. She tells you everything that should have happened, everything that didn't happen, everything that will happen the next time I play. She's going to wrap this up in about a minute and 30 seconds. Her decision making is so far beyond any other player in the WNBA that, folks, you got to be really witnessing this as the Indiana Fever won 102-83. You go back to the game itself, the game was a blur, right? 28-27, you come out in the first quarter, Dallas is hanging. You light them up for 36 in the second quarter. Here's where I'm going with this, folks. The team and the Indiana Fever, if they can get past the pettiness of who's who and understand that Caitlin is still Caitlin. I don't care who you are in the WNBA, until you can face off and beat Caitlin, you're going to have a problem. Now, defense, I never understood why they took her out of the games at the end of the games. I really didn't. It took me a minute to really understand what Caitlin was saying and how Stephanie White was trying to break down Caitlin's defense to say, this is what Caitlin needs to do. Caitlin is so far ahead. I'm the best defender you have. Folks, when you put up those kind of numbers, it dictates what the offense is going to do. Defense, 5 steals from Caitlin Clark, dictate what the offense was going to do. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I'm bringing this to you in a different way to say Caitlin is outperforming as a point guard, and the recognition is coming. It's a battle of It's a battle of an organization by committee. I think I've got a better hand on this, and I'll really take the next couple minutes and take a deeper dive. I think this is an organization, Indiana Fever, an organization by the committee. I don't think Stephanie White makes the decision, but I think she takes the heat for the decisions. I heard President Kelly saying we're concerned about the Indiana Fever. Our goal is the Indiana Fever. So, I mean, it's like a tugboat of war of who's going to get rewarded for the success of the Indiana Fever. I believe it's Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever will go as far as Caitlin goes. But when I have a coach, if Stephanie White's going to take the podium and really going to be, this is all the things Caitlin has to do on defense. She's the best defender you have. You just don't understand how she plays it. And when you were taking her out at the end of games, you didn't need to, but now it's clear. I've been saying this for a minute or two. The Indiana Fever, this is a tug of pride of war. Folks, pride cometh before the fall. It's a destruction, the pride. I want you to understand the pride and what the pride is doing to the Indiana Fever, because the Indiana Fever can win the WNBA championship if they relieve themselves of the pride. I'm Money Mike. I'll try to give it to you as clean as I can. And when things concern me and I see the Indiana Fever put up back-to-back 100 points and the coach is still trying to harp on Caitlin and what she needs to do, sometimes you got to have the glory and the victory. And that's why I always said sometimes it may be easier for Caitlin one day if she plays for a male coach. And the reason why, we'll just praise you. I mean, you go out there and you get me 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. I said, that's a miracle worker. I wish I had 100 Caitlins, and I hope everybody else receives the blessing, right? Because you don't get that every day out of a point guard, right? Ruthie Bolton, MVP point guard award. It's you got to look at that and say, what happened yesterday's game? You saw Caitlin play basketball. You saw passes that you haven't seen. You saw players respond. That's called unmeasurable greatness. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I'm committed. I believe in the WNBA. I understand that there's a lot of things that goes on, but I always call it just the way I see it. Caitlin Clark, that was an MVP performance. And you will get even more from Caitlin in the coming future. Stay tuned. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We promise you one thing, we'll get better and better. All things are possible to those who believe, and Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player in the WNBA today. And I stamp my name on that. The Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We'll see you soon.